Hey YouTube, it's Thorn, and I just haven't made a video in a while, and I start all of my videos by saying that, so just trying to keep consistent. But wanted to say hi, give some updates, talk about life stuff, whatever. Oliver is napping right beside me. I'm just chilling after getting home from work and wearing sweatpants and a hoodie, and I had some exciting grocery store sushi for dinner. And anyway, school gets out in like 2 weeks. We're really in the home stretch here, so my kids have kind of checked out, and things are winding down. We're gearing up for end of year testing, but mostly I'm preparing for the summer and kind of getting things in order. Those of you who subscribe to my newsletter know that I'm going to be running around all over the place. I'm going to be at Free Spirit Gathering in Maryland in June. I'm going to be at Starwood in Ohio in July. I'm going to be in England in August. I'm actually doing a talk or a signing at the Atlantis bookshop, which I'm so pumped about. That's like a dream come true. Like I kind of want to I feel like I'm going to kind of pee myself a little every time I think about it. Hopefully I don't do that in the store. That would be embarrassing. But it'd be right where Gerald Gardner and Aleister Crowley had their sexy tea, right? So, historic. Anyway, life is really good right now. The book comes out in, I guess the release date is July 8th, but I'm supposed to have copies in June, and I'm really pumped about that. I still can't get over that this is a thing. There's some proof copies running around. I've got friends who already have hard copies, and I'm super jealous because I just have the PDF. But anyway, that's really exciting. I'm also working on book number 2. The goal is to have the proposal in the next couple of months and get that off the ground. I've been working, kind of playing around with the same idea for the last few months, and it's finally sort of taken root and taken off. So we'll see. But let's see what else. I had an amazing case of poison ivy or something on my face last week, and it's finally clearing up. So that's really good. I got a little bit of stuff going on, but I've been on steroids for many days, which has been a great thrill. Those of you who follow the news here in the States know that North Carolina is kind of the next on the block as far as teacher, not technically they're not strikes, right? Because we're not allowed to have unions, but teacher advocating for additional classroom funding and raises, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been involved with that, and just lots and lots of stuff going on. What else? Writing stuff, yes. I am working on some pieces for various Llewellyn annuals. None of those things are official as of yet, just because there's paperwork to be signed, and I have to actually, write things and turn them in and that kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff is a couple of years out, just because I don't know if you realize I didn't realize how long it takes to actually produce a book even after it's been written and turned in. The process is almost 2 years long in some cases. So I'm actually looking at contracts for stuff that isn't coming out until like 2020, which is bananas, but that's just how it rolls. So there's that. In terms of craft stuff, most of my focus lately has been on kind of going back to the beginning. I wrote something for Pathos a little while ago about the importance of kind of going back to the basics and revisiting the beginning, especially when you get stuck on shit. I think it's pretty common in pretty much in any pagan tradition, really, where sometimes maybe it's not that you get burned out, but you do something for a particular period of time and stuff just isn't as new and exciting anymore. Either because it becomes so integrated, it's so much a part of your life. I mean, anything can kind of stop being shiny after some period of time, especially after you've realized that it's a lot more complex than things look in the very beginning. Beginner books and those first public rituals and private rituals make everything seem really exciting, and then you sort of wake up to this reality that just because you're a witch, that doesn't mean that you don't have to deal with the same bullshit that everybody who's alive has to deal with. And witchcraft isn't just going to solve all of your problems and, make everything okay all the time. When you've had a lot of those kinds of experiences, and then trying to kind of bring your practice into your real life, I think that causes some of us to slow down. One of my friends joked at a festival a couple of years ago, and this really stuck with me. This idea that, what we really need is grown folks Wicca. This idea that like Wicca isn't just for people who are trying to kind of escape things, and they're really into just kind of the bells and whistles that go along with it. This idea that Wicca, or witchcraft broadly, like real people leading complex adult lives, can still incorporate this in really useful ways, and it's not just for escapism and fantasy. So in feeling burned out, or feeling like you're slowing down, or feeling like things are just kind of blah, or just, I went through a phase really recently where I just didn't really want to do stuff. And a lot of that had to do with starting a new job, being exhausted all the time. Being a teacher, especially at a Title I school, is emotionally one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I mean, I spent my morning with DSS because one of my kids came in and her mom had beaten her up. And like, that's the kind of stuff I have to look at every day. And it's really difficult to just, find the positivity in every situation and go home and cleanse yourself with quartz and, thank the gods for the blessing that is life every day. Like, that's really hard to do when you've got a bleeding and bruised up kid, in your room, and there's not really anything you can do about it because the system is fucking broken. Like I don't want a spell to like cleanse my aura or something when I get home. So getting in those kinds of funks, the thing that's been the key for me, because I'm doing really well, magically speaking, now, and the key seems to be going back and revisiting those very basic things. Okay, maybe you can't do elaborate stuff, but coming home every day and lighting the candle that's on my home shrine has been really, really helpful. It just makes the place feel warmer and welcoming, and it makes me feel calmer almost instantly. I'm sitting here right now. I'm making a little poppet for myself, just as a way of kind of motivating myself and kind of preparing for the coming summer. This is totally a Silver Ravenwolf design. I'm really pumped about it. It's a cardinal. I'm making it. So when you see those fancy, like craft Pinterest recipe, whatever, she just came out with a book on this, and there are people out there like myself who actually try to do it, and I don't know if this guy is going to get eyes or not, but I'm really pumped about him. So that's what I'm sitting here doing, and it's really simple. I've got a candle burning, but I'm totally watching American Horror Story as I do this and drinking a glass of wine, and it's been a good way to unwind. And then later, probably when the full moon rolls around, I'm actually going to stuff it and do my woo. I've really been making a point of observing moon phases, which is something I've really let slide, like in the last decade. One of those basic things. Just kind of keeping my calendar marked and keeping an eye out and going outside and, having little kinds of things that are centered around the moon, just to sort of ground myself in the rest of the world and keep from like drifting off magically. I don't know, what else have I been doing? I'm actually trying to do affirmations too. Okay. And I say that with a slight eye roll because I've always been one of those people who's like, I can't even take myself seriously. Everybody says, oh yeah, meditate every day and do affirmations and blah, 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 like altering your mindset. And it's not that I don't think those things are true. It's just that I feel like I'm a jackass when I do them. It's just kind of out of my personality and out of my comfort zone, but I'm actually doing that stuff. And I'm a little chagrined to find that it's really helping. So I still feel like a jackass, but for very different reasons. So Oliver, meanwhile, is good. He went to the vet and had a very healthy checkup. He's like 600 years old now, but he's promised me that he's going to live forever, so I'm happy with that. What else? I guess that's about it. I went to the Renaissance Festival in Georgia for my birthday last weekend. I'm 34, which is fun. I can finally talk about being in my mid-30s fairly. I guess that's it. Yeah. Drop me a message. Say hi. And people who are in London, come to the Atlantis Bookshop and hang out with me. I think it's on the 10th. I'll double check. Yeah, and you can follow on like Instagram or Twitter or whatever for updates. But if you haven't pre-ordered the book, please do that. It would make me feel a lot better, just because that's how I get paid someday. So if I get paid, that would be great, because if you're watching the news, you know teachers don't necessarily make a whole lot, so that would be helpful. Okay. Bye, guys.